Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching Oman News from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos heads the welcoming party for the guest, His Majesty King Juan Carlos of Spain. The State Council approves the drafted law of amending some provisions of Commercial Agencies Law. Sultan's permanent representative to the United Nations wins the chairmanship of Media Committee in the United Nations General Assembly as first Arab women to chair this committee. And the third International Conference for Psychological Counseling discusses the latest educational and scientific developments in preparing the counselor. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those with headlines and now the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos received His Majesty King Juan Carlos I of Spain, who started a 3-day official visit to the Sultanate. An official reception ceremony was conducted to His Majesty the King of Spain upon the arrival of his motorcade at the Muscat Gate, where His Majesty the Sultan led the welcoming party of His Majesty the King of Spain. Along with His Majesty, he was received by His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, His Excellency Sayyid Khalid bin Hilal Al Busaidi, Minister of Diwan of the Royal Court, His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harb Al Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defence Affairs, His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Interior, His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Minister of Justice, and His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail Al Balushi, Minister responsible for Financial Affairs. Then, His Majesty the Sultan and the King of Spain took the main car towards the Al Alam Palace courtyard. The motorcade of their Majesties passed through 2 columns representing bands of the military music and royal cavalry, while a group of horsemen escorted the motorcade from Muscat Gate up to the Al Alam Palace gate. When the car of their Majesties arrived at the yard of Al Alam Palace, His Majesty Sultan Qaboos accompanied the King of Spain towards the days of honor, and the Spanish royal anthem was played, while they artillery fired a 21-gun salute for the King. Then His Majesty the Sultan shook hands with members of the official delegation accompanying the King of Spain, while the guest also shook hands with Their Highnesses the Chairman of the State Council, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council and Shura Council, ministers, commanders of the Sultan's Armed Forces, the Royal Oman Police, the Sultanate's ambassador accredited to the Kingdom of Spain, and members of the Mission of Honor accompanying the King.
My security, the people of the press, all the house, civil protocol, the director, my everything, honoring.
Then His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and His Majesty King Juan Carlos I proceeded to the hall for having Arabian coffee, exchanging cordial talks and reviewing the good relations binding the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Spain and the fruitful cooperation between them in various fields to serve the joint interest of the Omani and Spanish peoples in the presence of a number of Their Highnesses, ministers and members of the officials delegation accompanying His Majesty the King of Spain. Then His Majesty Sultan Qaboos and His Majesty King Juan Carlos I of Spain held a closed-door meeting. His Majesty the King of Spain is accompanied by an official delegation comprising His Excellency Pedro Morines, Minister of Defense, Her Excellency Ana Pastor, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, His Excellency Jose Manuel Soraya, Ministry of Industry, Energy and Tourism, His Excellency Rafael Spoturano, Head of Royal Palace, His Excellency Juan Jose Ortazo, person, Spain's accredited ambassador to the Sultanate, His Excellency Gonzalo de Benito, Deputy Minister for the Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Garcia Legas, Deputy Ministry of Commerce, and His Excellency Manuel Niño, Deputy Minister and Infrastructure, and a number of officials. His Majesty King Juan Carlos I of Spain and his delegation arrived in the Sultanate today, where he and his delegation were received at the Royal Airport by His Highness Sayyid Haytham bin Tariq Al Saeed, His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud Al Sinaidi, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Head of Mission of Honor, accompanying His Majesty the guest, and Her Excellency Kifaya bint Khamis Al Raisiya, Sultanate Ambassador accredited to Spain, and members of the Spanish Embassy in the Sultanate. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cabal of condolences to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on the death of Her Royal Highness Princess Mash'al bint Khalid bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. The State Council today approved the draft law of amending some provisions of Commercial Agencies Law to be forwarded to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos so to be issued. The draft was approved after discussions on notices of legal committee. It also approved during its session remarks on Consumer Protection Law draft to be coordinated with the Shura Council on some articles. It was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz Al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council. Shura Council office during its 16th meeting for the third annual convening round from the 7th term discussed the project of developing Wadi Darbat project for tourism and proposal of providing health insurance for the working citizens in the Sultanate. They also reviewed the reply of Her Excellency the Minister of Education on the desire of Education and Scientific Research Committee to discuss some educational topics that of need to the society. It was presided over by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council. Sultanate's permanent representative to the United Nations, Luitha bint Sultan Al Mughayriya, won the chairmanship of Media Committee in the United Nations General Assembly as first Arab woman to chair this committee. Her Excellency, during the committee's speech, reviewed main recommendations implemented from previous sessions, especially what related to strategic communication services in states of members participated in the committee, in addition to what it has been done at news services sector and awareness through reports prepared and participated by member states. The 36th session work of the committee focused on multilingualism at the United Nations statements in order to balance English language and other official languages. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. The Municipal Council of the Governorate of North Al-Batina discusses service projects provided by Royal Oman Police. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Conference of High Management for Civil Aviation Authorities of Second Middle East Safety Summit discussed the challenges which face aviation industry and enhanced air safety. More than 150 from Middle East regional and international organizations participated at the three-day conference, which concluded today. A number of work papers were discussed by expertise and those who concerned at the aviation safety field. The Oman Diabetes Association organized a ceremony to honor the participants in the activities of the World Diabetes Day under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Taimur bin Asad bin Tariq Al Said at Majan Intercontinental Hotel. The ceremony to honor all who have been involved in providing support to the people with diabetes or those who are at risk was held last night. The ceremony affirms exerted efforts from the individuals and organization collectively and the value of such causes. On this occasion, His Highness Sayyid Taimur bin Asad Al Said said,
"Today we're actually valuing people's efforts in participating in a very national cause, which is awareness on diabetes. And it has been shown by statistics very importantly for Oman and for the entire world community. This is actually a public service which comes within a person and gives a person great assurance of being part of a community. And I urge more and more people to participate in such events."
In her speech, Dr. Sayyida Noor Al-Busaidi said, "Our vision in the society is to help people with diabetes or those at risk and to work towards improving treatment services provided to them and to educate them about the dangers of diabetes and ways to prevent it." And nearly 120 participants and 25 governmental institutions who have contributed to the celebration of this occasion in the Center of Oman International Exhibition in November last year, which included several events such as lectures and educational programs on diabetes, free screening for blood sugar and blood pressure, and free clinic for diabetic food, and free clinic for examination of the retina in patients with diabetes, along with obesity and dental examination. This was followed by a documentary film about the association and its achievements, where Omani Society for Diabetes has been keen since its inception in the year 2005 to spread health awareness about diabetes among the members of the Omani Society and the people living with the disease and their families, driven by the desire to help them to deal with the diseases using the best healthy scientific methods and to help them to avoid its complications, as well as to upgrade the level of health and to spread the knowledge about modern methods used in the treatment. According to the World Health Organization, diabetes is one of the most common diseases among communities in the world. Al-Zahra College for Girls organized an open day which included artistic and heritage activities. The open day contained an exhibition for handicraft made by Omanis and a fine arts exhibition which contained many artistic pieces. It also exhibited old materials consisting of coins, currency notes, and some machines and equipment which were used during the past decades. The third International Conference for Psychological Counseling discussed in the University of Nizwa the latest educational and scientific developments in preparing the counselor with the participation of academic and professional experiences from Arab and international universities. It also discussed the challenges which face the psychological counseling in Arab world with participation of 56 researchers and academics. The three-day conference reviewed practical applications for psychological counseling and higher studies programs in this field through 43 work papers, as well as the counselor's role in facing the social problems. Al Khair School for Basic Education organized a fine arts exhibition in the Wilaya of Nizwa. It showcased a number of colorful portraits that highlighted students' talents in this field. It also witnessed a number of artistic practices and training sessions in fine arts field. The participants expressed that such activities contribute in the development of student skills in the society. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Wealth, in cooperation with a number of bodies concerned, discussed scientific researches and studies related to fisheries wealth in the scientific seminar on results of fish scientific researches with fishermen. The researches focused on all creatures living in water, developing pisciculture and integrating pisciculture. The Municipal Council of the Governorate of North Al-Batna in its fourth meeting discussed services projects provided by Royal Oman Police, in addition to a committee to follow the Council's suggestions and proposals. It was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Mhanna bin Saif Al-Lamki, Governor of North Al-Batna. And now for the general weather focus. Clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the Sultanate. Winds will be northwesterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and now before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos heads the welcoming party for the guest, His Majesty King Juan Carlos of Spain. The State Council approves the draft law of amending some provisions of Commercial Agencies Law. Sultanate's permanent representative to the United Nations wins the chairmanship of Media Committee in the United Nations General Assembly as first Arab woman to chair this committee. And the third International Conference for Psychological Counseling discusses the latest educational and scientific developments in preparing the counselor. With that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From me, Abdullah Al-Rubai, together here with the cameraman, Walid Al-Dafai, and the entire news team led by Salim Al-Mawali. Thank you for joining us.